You know, over in the other state of Illinois, you heard of Roland Burris. He's the Democratic senator who replaced now President Barack Obama. When Barack Obama won the general election, he resigned from the Senate back in November of 2008. Rod Blagojevich was given the honor to appoint someone who was to fill Obama's last 2 years in Senate. Well, unfortunately, he was indicted under the federal investigation for corruption, and believe it or not, he knew he was being wiretapped by the FBI. But of course, the ever-defiant governor who was arrested, he came out trying to say that he didn't do nothing wrong and he was innocent until proven guilty. Well, in the public's eye, as well as in the media, Rod Blagojevich was guilty. Rod Blagojevich was being panned by late night talk shows. He was being panned by the conservative news channel Fox News. He was being hammered by MSNBC, the liberal network, and also CNN. One thing that came to mind is that Rod Blagojevich knew that being defiant was the only way for him to catch attention, so he decides to appoint a successor. He appointed former Secretary of State and former Attorney General Roland Burris to fill that position. Roland Burris was at first told not to come into Congress with his associates because Senator Hannity, the majority leader, he basically didn't want no part of this. But unfortunately, due to the strong arm tactics of the Republican Party, conservative talk radio, and of course Roland Burris and Congressman Bobby Rush, Roland Burris decides now to become the U.S. Senator from Illinois. Well, seeing that Roland Burris is now being investigated himself for perjury, he failed to disclose his conversations between members of Rod Blagojevich's family, and now the Republicans in Illinois state legislature want him out. Senator Dick Durbin, he wants him out, and the new governor of Illinois, Pat Quinn, wants him out. President Barack Obama also urged Roland Burris not to get too comfortable. Roland Burris is still defiant. He still says that he is innocent until proven guilty. He has already shut down the media. And in 2010, he's now placed as the weakest Democrat. Now, as I get started on this video, I want to tell you what was going on. Over in Illinois, there's a lot of things going on between the Republicans and Democrats who are in Congress. There are some people in Illinois politics who are corrupt. The only thing that I want you to understand is that it didn't affect President Barack Obama. As I tell you in the next coming videos, I'm going to talk about the Gallup poll. The Gallup poll is what's the national polling of presidents and about the election. Well, President Barack Obama's ratings are within the 50s and 60s, so that usually means he's so far doing a good job as a president. Despite the criticism from the 25% that do not support Barack Obama, which means that's the Rush Limbaugh, the Sean Hannity, the Bill O'Reilly, the Matt Drudge, the Ann Coulter. Those are the type of people who will never support Barack Obama despite what he has accomplished. And then there are the conspiracy theorists like Dr. Jerome Corsi, or the people who make up these lame excuses about President Barack Obama's childhood. No offense to anybody in the conservative movement, but it's time to focus on how we can get this country working. Now on to other issues. Another black person by the name of Michael Steele. Michael Steele is the Republican National Chairman. He threatened to punish Arlen Specter, Olympia Snowe, and Susan Collins because they supported President Obama's tax stimulus plan. Now, you know, I kind of figured that bipartisanship is the only thing President Obama asked of the Republican parties, but Michael Steele, being a fresh face in the Republican Party, especially the first African American to lead the National Party, he's taken some drastic steps to not work with the Obama administration. And of course, John Boehner, my local congressman, and Eric Cantor of Virginia, they're also defiant in trying to work with the Obama administration. And that includes even Senator Mitch McConnell, the minority leader. My thing here is simple. If the Republicans have decent ideas, then they should be open to help President Obama. During the address to the Congress, President Obama had urged the Congress to work with him. Sometimes you get a little applause from the Democratic side, but on the Republican side, it was moderate to not clapping at all. The Republicans are still upset over the fact that they lost. They're still upset that President Obama had won. And they're still upset over the fact that President Obama is going to continue to spin us into a debt. But President Obama said that he wants to lower the debt. Isn't that something that the Republicans want? He also urged people to take financial responsibility. That's why he created a website called recovery.gov. Unfortunately, to some in talk radio, as well as on the conservative news channel Fox, it's not going to happen because they don't want to hear that. This has been over 2 years now since I've been posting videos on YouTube. I've been talking about what's going on in my community, I've been talking about the government, and I talked about the corrupt mainstream media. So far, I have been criticizing the Republican Party as well as many in the Democratic Party. Not often I criticize the Democratic Party, saying that they are doing something that's going to try to at least benefit me in the coming years. But if the Democratic Party had tried to do the things that the Republicans would have done, like fearmonger, conspiracy theories, smear campaigns, name calling, and of course divisive strategies in order to win this election in 2008 and soon 2010, I kind of think that the Republicans do not want to stay on focus with the healthcare crisis. They don't want to stay focused on the home foreclosure crisis. They don't want to focus on cutting back on the war in Iraq and Afghanistan, but yet we want to spend more into those countries, but we can't spend in our own country. I think to myself that as I grow up and get wiser to the game, I realize that there are going to be people who are not going to agree with the message. That's fine. But no way am I going to allow them to defeat me by making my voice be silenced. They've been complaining about things that are not going to happen until this is cleared up. President Obama is more focused on energy, education, economy. And unfortunately, they want to throw in these conservative talking points like the fairness doctrine or born alive bills and about how President Obama is not working with the Republicans. I told you, the Republicans had 4 months to talk to President Obama. President Obama had went to each Republican chamber to talk to him. He went to conservative columnists and many other people to talk with him. But unfortunately, Republicans will not get the message, and they're looked at as a joke. So therefore, I want you to understand this. In order for a person to vote Republican, they have to believe in the principles. They cannot recycle the old talking points of Ronald Reagan or any other Republican of the past. They barely talk about George H.W. Bush. They barely talk about George W. Bush. All that's been told was Ronald Reagan, and then blame Bill Clinton still. Quit blaming Bill Clinton. He's been out of office. Move on. Now, if you cannot move on and you want to still be focused on the 2008 election, that's your choice. But don't come here and post your comments saying that I'm wrong because I'm moving forward and you're still in the same position. Because the people who have spoken, they wanted President Barack Obama. So whether you like it or not, you got 4 years to deal with it. So go ahead, post your comments at the bottom. I dare you to post your nasty, ignorant comments. I mean, half of y'all can't spell the comments that you lay down on those pages anyway. And y'all got, well, you got the nerve to say I'm retarded and everything. Go ahead, say that. It doesn't bother me. For every time you criticize me, there'll be someone who will watch these videos and then they'll agree with me and then they'll subscribe and then the cycle will continue. To the many subscribers, I have over 1,700 plus subscribers from both profiles combined. Why am I not going to stop? It's because I keep doing it for those who are watching. So therefore, thank you.